Nissan 350z's for Dummies, a modification guide. Let's start off with things you can do without a tune. For sure, cold air intake, and then after that they say a plenum spacer, which is if this is your intake manifold, and right here it separates the base. It basically raises your intake manifold so more air can get in there faster. It's apparently best for the 03 to 04 models because the DE doesn't breathe as well as the newer ones. After that, you would get a Catback Exhaust. Still no tune needed, but they say you should reflash your ECU or reset it to help it relearn everything. You shouldn't run lean. After that, they talk about getting headers. You can do short tube or long tube depending on the sound you want. Most people, since the exhaust manifold is already so good and breathes so well, most people don't do it because it's extremely loud and it's just not as necessary. Right after the headers you have test pipes, so normally it's intake, catback, plenum spacer, and then you can do test pipes or high flow cats. Test pipes are deleting the catalytic converters on the bottom of the headers and right after the headers, and that's usually illegal in most places, but if it's not, you can just buy test pipes. It's just a straight pipe then, and then that connects to your wide pipe and your catback. But if you're in a place where catalytic converters are necessary, you would get a high flow cat, and those are high flow catalytic converters right after the headers. So after that, you pretty much are stuck with these engines. You either buy a supercharger or a turbo kit. That's kind of, you know, where you're gonna have to stop and you have to shell out a ton of cash for a turbo kit and then get a tune and everything like that. And you don't want to go cheap on a tune after something that crazy of a build. So these motors are actually very, very simple, unlike a boxer engine or any 4-cylinder turbo setup. There's a lot less to it. So yeah, recap: intake, catback, plenum spacer. After that, I would recommend high flow cats or test pipes. And then from there, you can kind of just chill. And then if you want to go crazy, maybe do headers and a turbo kit at the same time, and then a much more muffled catback to get rid of some of that sound that the headers are going to create. That is going to be disgustingly loud. So I hope that clears up. These motors are very simple to mod, nothing you should know out of the ordinary. Some people say if you're worried about it, you know, running lean after an intake and plenum spacer and things like that, you can take it to someone with a dyno or that can read the AFRs and see if it's running lean or rich. But most of the time, if you just flash your ECU, it's going to relearn, and after a couple bolt-ons, you really don't need to stress. So I would just be careful if you're not street racing all the time. Don't even trip. You should be good. And yeah, just listen to your motor. I think the biggest thing that people don't think about is just checking your oil, making sure it's high enough, that it does a proper amount. Most people's engines wear and tear comes from getting low on oil, and they drive it for, you know, the last 1,500 miles that are due to oil change moment, and then they take it to get the oil change. They don't even know that it was low the whole time. So I'd say every 3 times you fill up on a sports car, check your oil, if not more than that, to make sure. And I hope that clears up some confusion and answers some questions. I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.